Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here and welcome back to our brand new Go Battle League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing some really fun battles with Whiscash, which is amazing in this cup. The Mountain Cup is a ton of fun and Whiscash actually performs extremely well. With the mud bombs and ground coverage, and of course having Blizzard, it hits neutral or super effective against so much of the meta, and overall I think this is one of the best Pokemon in this cup. But just before we get into this video, we're going to play a really quick game. Now here's what you have to do, right? Now don't say it out loud, but I just want you to think of a vegetable. Don't say it, I don't want to hear it. I'm not listening, don't say it, just think it. Do you have it? Have you got something in your head, right? Now, if I can guess what vegetable you're thinking of, you will have to subscribe to the channel. Is that fair enough? I think that's pretty fair, right? Because there's like a million vegetables. Okay, so have you got it? Okay, so the vegetable that you're thinking of is a carrot. If you were thinking of a carrot, congratulations and welcome to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, you may as well hit that like button too. If you were thinking broccoli, I'm sorry, but you don't win this time. You'll have another chance to win in the future, so better luck next time. All joking aside, guys, I've seen that a lot of people who do come back and watch the videos every day are not yet subscribed. So if you do enjoy my content, and if you want to see more videos that you enjoy every day, quickly hit that subscribe button, and of course all likes and comments are very much appreciated. Alright, so hopping into these battles, I've seen some interesting Pokemon here today. I wasn't really expecting to see too many fire types, but we've had Firefang Mawile, and we've had Incinerate Macargo. I think there's even like a Firefang Macargo as well, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's Ember. And in comes the Dirty Razor Leafer, but our team just handles Dirty Razor Leafers with the double Ice Line. They can throw off a move here, which hopefully should not take us out here, Sand Tomb. Yeah, so that's quite a nice move actually for it, because it'll hit a lot of stuff neutrally, and of course get the debuff as well. And yep, goodbye. Goodbye. I actually don't even have that fully evolved. I don't even have it registered in my Pokedex, so I might have to bust it out for this cup. But in comes Empoleon. This can be a really core breaker for a lot of teams, but not for my team, folks. Whiscash just deals with this all day long. We're going to throw in good timing here. 3-turn fast move, and we've got a 2-turn fast move, so we throw after 1, 4, 7, and the opponent's going to sort of stay in here for a little while, which I was kind of surprised about. They're going to throw off the Hydro, and eventually they will switch in. Now they come in with Frostlass, and you do not want to come into the Mud Boy with loaded energy if you're Frostlass. This first one, boom, like 30% damage. In comes another one. It's like, you know, this is just a barrage of mud. They're just getting mudded down, and look at this. Can we even reach another one, folks? So we try to go for the catch, and unfortunately we weren't able to make it. Now with the Frostlass Mirror, if you like feel a catch, they'll usually go straight for the Shadow Ball, and I think they realize like they can just sort of go for the back-to-back. This is kind of okay here. It's looking a little bit rough, but I can maybe come in and just go for a Mud Bomb with my Mud Boy. Now a lot of you sort of ask me like in these videos, can I replace this Pokemon with this, or which Pokemon is a little bit better? There are basically 3 main ice types in this meta, Walrein, Frostlass, and Ninetales. I think Walrein is actually the highest rated, but the good things about Ninetales and Frostlass is they only take neutral damage against counter Pokemon, the likes of Lucario and Escavalier, which will be absolutely everywhere in this cup and are very difficult to deal with. Walrein does sort of get a little bit harder walled by those. So this is looking really rough here. The Frostlass, they do reach the Shadow Ball, unfortunately. But ladies and gentlemen, Alolan Ninetales does not care about Shadow Balls apparently, because we survive that with 1 HP. And that'll allow us to actually get off the Weather Ball and take out the Frostlass. So that's absolutely beautiful right there. In these videos, I always get questions about like which Pokemon could replace the Pokemon potentially. I want to explain a little bit about the 3 ice types in this meta. So I think Walrein might be the highest rated. It's got the most bulk, and it just, you know, it handles moves so much better. Ninetales and Frostlass are a little bit more glass cannony, but let's start off with Frostlass right here. You're going to see in this matchup here, even against the Mawile, we're going to throw off a Shadow Ball, and it's just basically going to one-shot it if they let it go. I think the opponent thinks this is just an avalanche, and they just get completely destroyed, and in comes their own Frostlass. So Frostlass does a crazy amount of damage. It reaches the avalanche in 6 and the Shadow Ball in 7, so they're pretty fast charging moves, but it just does crazy amount of damage. Your slightly more bulky option is Alolan Ninetales. Now the disadvantage with Alolan Ninetales compared to Frostlass is that it doesn't hit as hard, but it is more bulky. The Weather Balls don't do as much damage, but you do get to them in 5 and 4, 5 and 4. So you do get to those moves a little bit faster to put on more pressure quickly. The Dazzling Gleam, the harder hitting move, if you want to get some neutral coverage, takes 9 Powder Snows, which takes an awful long time to get to. At that stage, a Frostlass would have had an avalanche and a half, basically. So that's sort of the disadvantage with Ninetales. It's an amazing ice coverage. It's a little bit more bulky, but the harder hitting move is harder to get to. And then you have Walrein, which of course is very weak to counter, but it has Icicle Spears, which it reaches very quickly, and it can go for the hard-hitting Earthquake, which can take out the combined Steel-type Pokemon. So you always have a ton of play with these Pokemon. Walrein's definitely better against the Steel types, the likes of Empoleon, Lucario, but Lucario is so, and actually Escavalier as well. Escavalier and Lucario are so glassy that like 2 avalanches takes them out, or like 2 Weather Ball gets them really low. You might have seen already, or you will see that basically 2 Weather Balls plus Powder Snows will take out a Mawile. So personally, I do prefer the harder hitting Pokemon. But if you wanted to run Mudboy double ice, you could go for this Mudboy, you could go for Marshtomp, and you could go for any of those free Pokemon in the back basically. So hopping into this matchup right here, we've got Froslass versus our Mudboy. These Mud Bombs do a lot of damage, as you've seen. Like, we get to them super quickly, and they do about 30% damage. We swap straight out here and try to basically throw off the move first. Now, at this point, I think the opponent just went straight Avalanche, which, oh, actually, this is the one where they went Crunch. That's a crazy move right there. Honestly, that is so smart in this meta. I think going Crunch actually might be the play, because the one bad thing about Crunch is you can actually live it as a Froslass, but you do get to it a little bit faster. So it could be like a nice little bait move, basically, where you're not fully committing to the Shadow Ball, and if you needed to get that damage off in a zero shield scenario, that could be super clutch for you. And in comes Seismitoad. Shout out to Luce, who's going to be recording some gameplay on Seismitoad. This is an interesting Pokemon. It knows Muddy Water, and it knows, I believe, Earth Power, so it has 2 really hard-hitting moves. Or sorry, it has a really hard-hitting move and a bait move. And Muddy Water, of course, debuffs the opponent, but doesn't do a lot of damage. And you're going to see here, like, this Earth Power, it's just going to do a crazy amount of damage. I just decided to no-shield it, and boom. It done a lot of damage to my Ninetales. This Pokemon is actually fairly bulky as well, so I feel like this is actually quite a good pick. It's a bulky Pokemon, and you're debuffing and you're threatening the heavy-hitting move. I think that's actually quite a nice underrated pick right there, so consider using that if you have it. The opponent goes for a Rock Tomb, we get another debuff. We're just getting debuffed like crazy right here. The opponent's using a 5-turn move, we're using a 2-turn move, so you throw after 2, 4, or 7 to get the best energy generation, and not to allow them to get free energy basically. Even with the debuff, we can one-shot it, and I thought it was so interesting that I was finding Macargos. So currently we're having a really good set, first set of the day, like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm really tired. I'm like, okay, I'm still actually playing decently here, so I'm pretty happy with this so far. Now, let's see what happens here. We get a really good lead. The opponent swaps it into their own Mudboy, and we're going to commit all the way up to this Blizzard right here. So we're going to get this off, which will do more than 50% of their health. If they decide, so they decide to let it go. And we actually catch it on our Froslass as well. I think Ninetales would have been the better catch right here, because, you know, that still does a decent amount of damage on this, and it will allow them to get off another Mud Bomb as well. So I think Ninetales was the correct catch. They've got us really low here, but I can slightly overfarm and go for this Avalanche right here. Now you're going to see this is going to kind of work against us, because the Escavalier can, or sorry, the Mawile can come back in and farm us down, and we can just come back in with our Mudboy. They do know Play Rough and Power Punch generally, or they can know Iron Head. They let that go, so I'm like, okay, so they're just going to let me basically farm them down and go for Play Rough right here, but the opponent actually goes for Power Punch, which is quite annoying. I decide, okay, I'm getting you out of here, bro. I'm not letting you Power Punch me again, or go for the harder hitting move. And the opponent shields it. I'm like, bro, just leave me alone. Like, just let me, just die, please. Just stop. You're not getting out of this match. They go for another Power Punch, which if I was counting correctly, I wouldn't have shielded. Now in comes Razor Leaf, Abomasnow, which is a bit of a pain. We get to the first Weather Ball first, which is nice. And hopefully we can outpace the second one here. This Abomasnow does a ton of damage, and yeah, we actually CMP on it, and they actually win CMP, which I could not believe. But I guess, yeah, it makes sense. Abomasnow is kind of like that. These Mud Bombs would not do enough, so I do have to commit to the Avalanche. We go for one there. I think I could have won that match if I caught on the Ninetales, or maybe farmed up a little bit extra with the Whiscash. You know, there's a couple of things I could have done there for sure. Anyway, hopping into the next one, so really positive start to the day with this team. And like I said, I overall really enjoyed this cup and enjoyed this team, because the Psychic Cup, honestly guys, it was dreadful at the end. Even with the Galarians, you know, that shook it up a little bit, but it was still pretty RPS and yeah, pretty tight meta. They're staying in here with this Gliscor, which is interesting to say the least. So I'm thinking, okay, are you just triple weak to ice? In comes Diggersby, so I'm like, right, okay. That's not really an answer to Froslass. So what do you have in the back that you're triple weak to ice? And we'll find out here soon enough, I'm sure. And we throw off another Avalanche. And, you know, the good thing about this is you can eat 2 Fire Punches from a Diggersby and Froslass. If they've got low IVs and you've got, you know, if they've got low attack and you've got low attack. If you both have good IVs, you can eat 2. At this point, I'm going to shield it, and I should be able to go for a farm down right here. I think I was tempted to swap out right there and get a little bit ahead on energy on something else. But we're leaving here with an Avalanche or Shadow Ball, which will basically guarantee a shield. And yeah, we'll just go for this straight away. The opponent can know Night Slash, which would take out the Froslass. They do shield it, and at this point we go straight into the Ninetales. The opponent doesn't throw here. I guess they were committing to the Earthquake, but of course not able to get it. In comes Froslass. And as you seen earlier, like they cannot one-shot you with the Shadow Ball. And yeah, we just had too much for it to overcome there. Even if I went straight Weather Ball there, you know, it chips the Frostlass so much because it's so low HP and whatever. It has such low defense or HP. And another really positive lead. Again, I'm so surprised to see so many of these. And if you're running this team, this is probably going to be your biggest enemy. A Lapras is a pain in the ass to deal with. It is so bulky. And actually, if you have one, I would recommend running it. The recommended moveset is Ice Shard, but a lot of people are running Water Gun, which actually generates energy pretty decently. And it's very oppressive with the fast move pressure, especially against your ice types, because you're basically getting resisted the whole way across. I maybe could have went for a bait right there, but I'm just trying to sort of guarantee the damage, which would have allowed me to get off another Shadow Ball before having to shield again, which is kind of unfortunate. I do decide to bait this time because I'm thinking, okay, the Frostlass, you know, it's kind of like my best chance of getting this out of here. And yeah, they do reach the move first. It's unfortunate. Lapras is a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, it's just so bulky. So if you have one, I would definitely recommend running it. We're gonna come in with our Ninetales right here, and you know, because we think that, you know, of course they have the Mobile in the back. We want to try to keep the Mud Boy for Mawile. I'm gonna fire off a couple of Weather Balls here, which will do a ton of damage. We swap out, keeping a little bit of energy, hopefully trying to go for a Dazzling Gleam on the Lapras, but the opponent still has another Pokemon in the back as well. So like this is just pretty much very, very tough to overcome. We can one-shot this out of here. They've got still the bulky Lapras. What are they going to come in with? I think they probably will come in with Lapras. This Mud Bomb would not even one-shot anyway, and they just throw it straight off. And yeah, at this point, it's like, I can get up to the Gleam here. Like I said, they're getting to these moves super quickly, even though it is Water Gun. I wonder how good it would be with Ice Shard. Yeah, I did go for the Gleam at the end, but it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. So hopping into the next one, Whiscash versus Escavalier, very good lead. The opponent should swap out here, and they come into Diggersby. We've got two amazing answers for it in the back, and I think I would actually sort of prefer coming in with Ninetales here again as well. It is a little bit bulkier, and a little bit less shield pressure, and you can spam off the Weather Balls a lot faster, so I think I do slightly prefer Ninetales. The opponent is shielded up, so I'm like, okay, let's just say in this match I can eat two Fire Punches as I said before, and this is going to be absolutely fine. We're not going to outpace the moves, but we will win CMP on every occasion, and, you know, we can eat two, they can eat nothing, basically. We can eat this final one, and we're going to do so, and hopefully get out with a move, basically, or close to a move. In comes Escav. They do get a farm down, which is very, very unfortunate. They come in with their Whiscash, we come in with our Ninetales. Again, Ninetales does really well against all of the Mud Boys, even the combined water typing. And I think at this point, the opponent throws off a move, and I think they just sort of give up in the middle of the move. They're like, yeah, this is not going to work out for me. I don't even get to throw off the Weather Ball. Maybe they got the laggy bubbles, but I don't think that was it. I think they just realized it was kind of over there, and yeah, they couldn't take that one out. So we get a Whiscash lead, and we're just swapping into Frostlass. Again, you know, maybe swapping into Ninetales is better here, but I think Ninetales is our best answer for it. And in comes Sudowoodo. This is a really fun pick here. Is this counter that it knows? Okay, that just does a ton of damage. And we actually CMP on the second one as well. So if the opponent wants to get off a move, they're going to have to shield it. They do shield it, which is kind of surprising. And I will shield back, no problem here at all. We've still got a decent amount of health on the Frostlass, and we can just farm it all the way down. So this is beautiful right here. Back in comes the Mud Boy. And at this stage, like, this Avalanche will get them down to like less than half health, deep into the yellow. Now we're going to aggro swap, because we've just done so much damage here already that I can let my own Mud Boy deal with it. And as you can see, we can eat those Mud Bombs no problem whatsoever. I don't really want to eat a second one, so I maybe could have removed a bit sooner there, but I'm happy enough just to farm up an absolute ton of energy, and they must have been weak in the back, and even if they weren't weak in the back, you know, that's just Ninetales. It can get off these moves so quickly, and it's going to be super difficult for them to deal with my Ninetales loaded with energy plus a Mud Boy. Or of course they could have went down on their last shield, which would have left them in a rough spot as well. And in comes Lucario. Lucario does not want to see my Mud Boy. It takes them, I think, 7 and 8 to get to the Shadow Ball, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on that. We almost one-shot them, so I'm like, oof. Is this just a Power Punch? Oof. You hate to see that if you're Lucario. I'm not sure what they were trying to do there. I can just aggro swap at this point, see if they have anything else that's weak in the back. And of course they do. They have the Shadow Mawile. Definitely really interested in thinking about building this Pokemon. It would cost me about 300k to build it, but I'm not sure if it would be worth it. Getting a little message there from my wife as well. I don't have my notifications turned off, but GG's there. I had to quickly discard that from my phone, as to not get in the way, because if I accidentally open that message, I'm probably going to lose the match. Let me know if you guys have ever done that. Like, the thing that always pops up on my phone is the battery. it'll give me like a warning message, like put your phone on the charger. It's like, yeah bro, I know, like you don't have to put up this whole message that I have to click out of, or my storage will get low sometimes. Definitely the most awkward thing to deal with when you're doing battles. But anyway, the opponent's getting off a move here. As we've seen before, it'll do about 30%, decent amount of damage. I feel like this Whiscash, okay, they stop attacking as well. So, like, as you're seeing, we're just getting a lot of rage quits with this team, and I'm just going to be a little bit cheeky here, because it's like, if you're going to waste my time and make me farm you the whole way down, I'm going to farm you down to 1, and if you're still looking at your phone, you can see my Frostlass here loaded with energy, and if they start attacking again, I was going to throw off a move. We get them down to, like, literally 1 HP, and finally finish them off. Guys, just top left, honestly, but whenever the opponent does that, so whenever they force close their app, it completely lags the battle. But I knew in that case that they just like set their phone down, or they just stopped attacking. So I decided, okay, they're either looking at their phone or they've just set it down. In either case, I'm going to sit here for a minute. In comes Frostlass, and this is a good matchup for our Whiscash right here. We will have the 2 ice types in the back, which is perfect. And yeah, this is exactly where we want to see it. I do go for another unnecessary catch here, but I do like to keep my Whiscash alive, for the pure reason of being able to deal with any extra steel types I might have in the back, because the ice types do have a little bit of a rough time with those. So yeah, we're just kind of going for this matchup. They have to go Shadow Ball, I can go Avalanche, and they do go straight Shadow Ball. At this point, I can get off this move, and they can either, you know, save their Frostlass, or do whatever. I don't really care at this point, because they're super, super low, and they do decide to swap out into Mawel. Mawel, you're not going to enjoy this, bro. Like, here's a Shadow Ball for you, just like a little welcome present for you, and we're going to farm a time with the Mud Boy. That was definitely not the play. They do have a move loaded, which will do a ton of damage, but we can tank this easily in Whiscash. We're going to go for this move. I could have even farmed up a little bit more here, which, depending on what's in the back, we'll see. So it is a Diggersby, it's not going to matter in any case. I don't even need to farm up to the Avalanche at this point. They will outpace us to the Earthquake. I can just go for back-to-back Mud Bombs here. They will want to try to get a little bit of extra energy, but it's not going to matter at this point. And yeah, let's see what they want to do. They actually throw here, which, like, they cannot throw against this. They need to get the full farm down. As soon as they throw that, they undercharge that as well. They're trying to go for the farm down with the undercharge. They needed to commit to the full farm down, but I don't think it was going to make a difference anyway. I'm waiting down the clock, and they probably should just see this in top left. Even if this is an Earthquake, it's not going to one-shot the Ninetales. Fire Punch certainly will not, and GG's. So I think, like, that was a rock and a hard place for the Diggersby. And this team, just, if you see a Diggersby, you just win, basically. I've not seen as many Diggersby as I would have expected, but we're having a really nice set here. We're going 4-1 again, which is absolutely beautiful. And like I said, I did really enjoy this team. Nice little 4-1 set. And yeah, guys, I just wanted to quickly mention at the end of the video, we actually have memberships available on the channel, so if you do want to support the channel or become a member, there are some perks and stuff like that, but it is mainly just to support the channel if that's something that you're interested in. I'm going to be making emotes and, like, member badges and all that kind of stuff quite soon. So if that's something you want to do, thank you very much, and you can just hit the join button down below. But we do have a few more battles here. Like I said, today's video is definitely a longer one. I wanted to sort of make up for the lack of uploads recently and do a sort of longer first video for this. And thank you guys for all the support on the videos recently. The video yesterday is one of my best ever performing videos, showcasing the Ninetales. Of course, we're using it today, but we're more putting the focus on the Whiscash. As I mentioned in the video yesterday, Whiscash is just an amazing Pokemon in this league, and I feel like it's going to be a staple for a lot of my teams here. It just has so much play and so much coverage, but having these 2 ice types in the back do crazy as well. So yeah, the in comes the Abomasnow. Can we reach? No, we just about don't. That would have been huge if we had to really had to reach that. And I think we're waiting down the clock. We're going to come in with the Ninetales. These Razor Leafs are just shredding through, and the opponent makes a nice catch right here onto the Frostlass. So we'll do a little bit of chip here. This is not too bad. We can just sort of release our Mud Boy onto it. So it's kind of like, it kind of works out well in a way, because I don't want that Abomasnow on this Pokemon. So I can basically just no shield this. We actually see MP tie on this right here, and I feel like I can survive one of anything. So yeah, we're either going to take this out or get the last shield off it. I'm hoping to get the shield here, because the Abomasnow will just come in and farm down, unfortunately. So we come back in. We do have pace to the moves, but the Abomasnow is a little bit ahead on energy, and I did realize that. So instead of going for the CMP, I went for the overfarm right here. And yeah, the opponents, they just get to too many moves, unfortunately. I think I've lost twice to the Razor Leaf Abomasnow. It's just a little bit harder to deal with, unfortunately. If you can get it in a proper scenario, like, you can just outspam it with the Ninetales, but we've got another Razor Leaf. So at this point, this is a lot better, right? We're in here a lot earlier. The opponent's now start getting ahead in energy. And yeah, you'll see like one Weather Ball does a ton of damage. The opponent will get off a move here, but I want to keep alignment for my Mud Boy. And we're going to try and basically farm this thing down, and we do. We end up leaving with a move as well. And I think we're just going to go straight for the Weather Ball. As you've seen earlier, the Mawile cannot eat any moves, even if it is just a Weather Ball. And we're really low, so they're not going to get a ton of energy, which is beautiful. And we're going to come in with our Mud Boy and just go straight for the Mud Bomb, which is just working out perfectly here. Yeah, the opponent is basically going to get one shot, and they come into Torterra. We come into Frostlass. You choose Rock, I choose Paper, and we're just going to farm this all the way down. We're just going to farm this all the way down. We don't even have to throw, just farm it all the way down. The opponent has 2 shields right here, and we're just going to farm this all the way down too. And it ends up being a simple KO, but we still have a Pokeball in the back, so we do win that. That's a mistake I do make from time to time, where I'll start throwing moves if they've got 2 shields at the end. If you think in your heart for a second that you can get the farm down, just commit to it and don't change your mind, because that can be your only way to win matches sometimes. But in comes a very, very positive lead for us, because we can just swap straight out. And even though Lucario's coming in here, this thing just gets one shot. The opponent, they do shield it, so I decide to go for the bait, obviously, first time round. Now, close combat would just about take me out here, and so would Shadow Ball, but I do call the Power Punch, so I'm super happy with that. I realise the opponent does kind of need to bait here, and we'll go for the Shadow Ball. So we've got them down 2 shields. I can let this go, and I can just come in with Mud Boy and just do a ton of damage. Can I even get off another one? No. So they're getting rammed up here, which is a little bit scary. So at this point, I might even shield this one, because these will start adding up quite a lot here. We're farming up a little bit extra, because I don't want to let them get to more moves. We're just going to get rid of this Lucario. So we have a little bit of energy on the other side, and I decide to aggro swap, because I knew they would come in with Gliscor. We can get the Dazzling Gleam, and you're going to see this matchup right here. Like, how much would this actually do? It does a lot, actually. The Dazzling Gleam does a lot. Can we get to the Weather Ball? We can. This won't quite take it out, but it's going to put it in a range where I can take it out with my my Mud Boy. I can't remember its name, Whiscash. In comes the Surf, that'll take us out. And yeah, we have a shield up at this point. I'm going to go for the full farm down right here. The opponent just about gets off the move, which is unfortunate. But the unfortunate thing for them is Whiscash knows Blizzard, and they've got a Pokemon that's like 700 times weak to Ice. That Pokemon, like, it looks really fun if you get it in the correct scenarios, but it's just so risky. It is just so risky. I wouldn't risk it, honestly. Or unless you're doing like an ABB style team, where it's like you destroy ice types in the back, right? Like, that's the only way to run that Pokemon, I feel like. So in comes Lapras, again, just an annoying matchup. These matchups takes forever. And this is actually kind of a nice change of pace, right? Because we had the Psychic Cup last week, where it's like 25 minutes into your battles, you've done like 4 sets, it just went by so quickly. And then you've got the Ultra League, where it's like 25 minutes into your battles, you've barely just completed your first game. This is kind of like a nice middle ground, where the Pokemon we're using, it's quite nice too. It's not like the hardcore meta, right? You do have Registeel and you do have Swampert, but they're not the top Pokemon in this cup. I do really enjoy metas where some of the fringe Pokemon are the meta, and I think that makes for better gameplay, because they're just obviously not the most broken Pokemon. They're more anti-meta, and the play around them is just a lot more entertaining, in my opinion. If you look at the top, like, it's Escavalier, Diggersby, Whiscash, Lucario, Gliscor, Marshtomp, Ferrothorn, Torterra, Gliscor, non-shadow version. Like, really fun Pokemon, and it's not just like Noctowl Lanterns. For me personally, the Great League has got so stale with that, so I'm definitely having a good time with this cup. And yeah, so in comes Escavalier. This is kind of rough for me here. I guess I could have went for the Gleam there, which would probably do more damage. The opponent goes for the Acid Spray and unfortunately counters me down. So I'm going to go for as much energy as possible. I do see MP tie it, and I know it's going to be the Acid Spray, so I let it go. I know this will take out, and I just need to hope that a Blizzard will wreck something. I go for the nasty Undercharge, but I just about undercharged it a little bit too much. Yeah, GG's there. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you everybody, like I said, for all the support in the videos. If you did enjoy today's video, drop a like, drop a sub on the channel, it's very much appreciated. And of course, we have a Discord community, where if you want to do practice battles against me and my community, or generally just see what's going on in there, feel free to join that in the description down below. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your day.